through Christ in me. To this I hope, my shepherd will defend me. Through the deepest valley he will lead. Oh, the night has been won, and I shall overcome. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. Oh, the night has been won, and I shall overcome. Yet not I, but through Christ in me.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down everywhere when we remember Zion. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down everywhere when we remember Zion. When the wicked carry us away captivity, requiring from us a song. Oh, now we have to sing the lost song in our strength. When the wicked carry us away captivity, requiring from us a song. Oh, now we have to sing the lost song in our strength land. When we remember Zion.
Okay.
Unaimbatira cross eh? Nenda kuba nanga. Ayo Kirya.
My Savior, and in my surrender, would He devote the sacred day? received my sight, and now I am happy all the day. Was it for Christ that I have done? His amazing pity, grace unknown, and love beyond measure. At the cross, where I first saw the light, and the mind of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am happy all the where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am
Let us do this once again.
all the day.
Let us sing this together.
At the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day.
May God bless you all.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Maza. I believe you've had a blissful Sabbath. Thank you so much, the Joyful Brothers, for blessing us through music. I wish you could stay around and be part of this program, because I believe most of you are yet to commit, to make commitments. I believe some of you are in relationships, and you need to hear this. So this is our real talk, session number 2, right? Yes, and this evening we are blessed to have Pastor Sam Kirya to speak to us about relationships and commitment in the digital age. So I believe it's going to be enriching to many of us. So make sure no one is disturbing you. No one should be whispering to you. And prepare your questions just in case you have any question about relationships. Pastor is here to answer them all. Before we begin, I'll invite ourselves to humble ourselves for the word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of the Sabbath. And we thank you for you are bringing us into a new week. Father, we pray that you may be with us even during this session. Speak to many of us, especially the singles, those who are dating, those who are planning to get married. Father, may we all be edified and enriched through your manservant. It's our humble prayer through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen. Pastor Sam, this is your time to speak to us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And how are you today? I have been feeling very nervous when seated back there because the concentration level of people usually when they have had a long hours seated and they have had great music from the young people here can become quite challenging. But I want to thank this church and the church leadership that invited me over to come and share some insights with you and listen to you also as we talk through this. Elder Samson sent me a message that I should talk about navigating emotional intimacy and commitment in the age of casual dating and social media. Now, navigating emotional what? Intimacy and commitment in the age of casual dating and social media. But I'm listening here and I'm seeing relationships and commitment in the digital age. Connected, not far distant. The interesting part of this is, in reality, this is not just for the singles. Unfortunately, many of the singles have also walked out, which is good and also what? And bad. Why? Because the landscape of relationships has changed drastically, probably more than the landscape of the infrastructural development. When you walk through Kampala, if you have taken a little bit of time before you walk through downtown Kampala, just take a year or two, you are going to have a lot of challenges. I think some of you have noticed that. I have been a little bit away for a few weeks. When I came back, as I was driving through, I found street lights and traffic lights on almost every corner. And I am one of those few people who are lucky that they have changed and put on hold the express penalty. Why? While I never drive through a red light, I never do that. But sometimes you can't know that the speed limit here is 30 kilometers per hour. And just before around the time, I was driving one time from Logogo. I was doing 35, not 40, 35. And then the police stopped me. I had not seen that I was in a zone of 30 kilometers per hour. And then he says, "Sir, how are you?" I was so confident. I greeted him very confidently. "Can I look at your driving permit?" "Of course." And he says, "Sir, you are speeding." I said, "What?" I was shocked that he thought I was speeding. Why? Because I had failed to notice that somewhere there was a signpost that was saying that was 30 kilometers. I was like, "But sir, I'm not speeding." He says, "Yes, you are. And you are driving at 35 kilometers per hour in a zone of 30 what? And so you are going to pay a penalty of how much? 200,000. Man, you should have seen how I called on the Holy Spirit to help me in that time. So navigating emotional intimacy and commitment in the age of casual dating and social media. I love the aspect of relationships and commitment because many of us have this viewpoint that dating really is for the singles. I have good news and bad news for you. Dating, well, depending on the semantic range you have for it, I'd like to invite those of you who are married, do not stop dating your spouses. Hello? Did you hear what I said? Do not stop what? Oh, I am still not getting through to you. I think one of our problems is that when we get into marriage, we leave out the good stuff that we had a little bit earlier. Is dating a good thing? Do you have fun when you're dating? Then you get married and you throw it away. Why do you throw away something good? So to the marrieds who are here, many of the problems we are having in marriages and why they are breaking up, and people are figuratively together but not emotionally together, and emotionally the intimacy is no longer there, is because of some of the issues that we are talking about. Digital age has come up with so many good things. But today, when we look at relationships, technology has come in, social media is here to stay, and there has been a shift in the cultural values, and all these have created an environment where casual encounters are often looked at and they are replacing what we call the deep connections. People find it easier to be in casual encounters than in deep connections. So, a lot of young people, but let me also widen it, that a lot of people, including this in church here today, struggle to form emotionally intimate and lasting relationships. And so they find themselves stuck in confusing situations, and a lot of people are having heartbreaks, and they are going through emotional unfulfilling cycles. I have some good news and bad news for you. How many of you have had a heartbreak? Have you ever had a heartbreak? I have. I have. I know how stigma is, there, self-stigma. So this church is lucky. There's only one young man who has had a heartbreak. The rest of you have not. You are Christians, good Christians. I want to tell you this, that some of you don't know that the greatest heartbreak is in the marriage. Did you hear what I said? Some of you don't know that the greatest heartbreaks are in what? And in marriage. So don't worry. If you've not had a heartbreak, don't worry. Just hang in a little bit and listen here. And as one young man told me when I was talking to them, he says, "Pastor, for me, I have gone beyond heartbreaks. I am in a different age, I have actually graduated from heartbreaks. Now I am in heart blended. I am no longer heartbroken, but heart what? Heart blended. Now, how are you going to navigate the emotional intimacy when we are fighting with issues of casual dating, casual commitments, social media, and all sorts of things? I was attending one wedding reception, and we were seated on a table, very, very chic and very high-class wedding reception. And we were seated there, and I was having a young couple next to me. A young lady was seated next to me, and apparently what I would call maybe her boyfriend. And she was there, and he was busy on his smartphone. And he was busy smiling and laughing at the same time. And she was there, seated there like a dummy. Like they had just picked a mannequin from the city and placed it there. And after a while, he sees some friends, and he moves off, and he continues the conversation. And then I looked at her, she looked totally lost. So I asked her a question. I said, hello. She said, hello. She didn't know me. I said, are you here alone? And she says, no, I'm here with my boyfriend. I said, okay, are you the friends to the groom and the bride? She says, I don't know them. I only came to this wedding reception because my boyfriend invited me to come along. And where was the boyfriend? When he was seated next to her, he was physically available, emotionally distant, very far away. Digital age has brought us together, but has actually separated us emotionally. That you can be in a room and you can be chatting with somebody, but you are not emotionally attached. So let's first of all understand what is emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is the ability to be vulnerable, to be emotionally open with someone you trust. Now, this is in itself a problem. Emotional intimacy is the ability to be what? Vulnerable and be emotionally open with someone you do what? You trust. And it's the foundation of any strong, any lasting relationship, whether romantic or otherwise. Whether you're in a marriage, if you are going to survive it, there must be an vulnerability in you. Now, I want to tell you this, that when you don't become vulnerable, you will not be emotionally intimate. Can I spell it out? If you want to know what kills love, it's when vulnerability becomes absent. Go back to your relationship and see those relationships that have had problems. Where did it start going wrong? When you started being, you are no longer emotionally vulnerable. You see, when you are emotionally vulnerable, you put yourself in a very difficult situation. You put yourself in a situation where you can be easily hurt. Am I talking to someone? Am I communicating? You know, you're so quiet now, it's as if I'm preaching to someone. I have to be very careful. When you become emotionally vulnerable, you do things you would not do in normal senses because you are putting yourself in a position where you can be abused and you can be hurt. Hello? Now, the nature of human beings is I should not put myself in a position where somebody can do what? Can hurt me. And so, because of that, you lose the vulnerability and you lose the love. So I have always said that if you want to remain in love, first of all, if you want to fall in love, be vulnerable. Takes me back to when we were, those of us who were born in BC, before computers. So here we are in senior 2. Anybody in senior 2? Senior 1, we were very fearful and scared Senior 2, we discovered that on planet there was another item called ladies and girls. That all along before that, we had played with and acted like they were simply our big brothers. We didn't care. First of all, most of them looked like us. You know, when you get to those age, that's when certain curves start happening and a few things. Before that, you are all playing football, you are climbing trees, you are doing all sorts of things. It rains, what do? You take off your clothes and run out in the rain. You are not even thinking, this is a girl, this is a boy. Gone are the days of innocence. So for some of us were born when innocent days were around. Nowadays, parents are more difficult. Those days, we had fun. When we come to senior 2, we are now in secondary school, we discover they are girls. And when we discover they are girls, you notice and you see there's a particular girl you are interested in. I have a friend of mine, he's also now a pastor, so we look back and remains. We did not have anything called technology to our aid. The earliest and easiest technology that we had used to come on Saturday evenings when we would have movie night once in a while, and they would bring films that were on reels. So those of us who were born in those days, one of the films they brought was King Kong, which we found very interesting, a reel. And when they showed this young girl having a boyfriend who was kissing her, always the entertainment master would be there. He knows exactly the place that is coming, and he blocks. He blocks such that you don't see her kissing, hugging. Did we even ever see parents hugging? Was it ever seen? That was not heard of. So emotional intimacy was a little bit defined differently then because people had to practice it physically and in absence of all others. So we discover all this and we decide that these girls deserve our attention. We didn't know that we were under the hormones. And then we said the good days were to write. So you get a paper and you write a small piece and you write some message there and you fold it well and you send it and you want it to go specifically to a particular young lady. So it keeps going. And then she gets the paper, she opens it and reads it, and you are here, you are dying. Literally, you are dying. If it was possible for you to have a heart attack, you'd have it. Because her reception and her body reaction is going to show you whether things are going to be okay or you are doomed. Then she reads it, and you see her smiling, and you're like, now I can start doing what? Breathing. Ladies, did you know how much pain you put to us guys through? Now, we didn't know what to write until we landed on Good News Bible. Remember, we are good Adventist kids. This one was talking is a 4th generation Adventist. Me, I'm 2nd generation. Good Adventist kids. We learned on Good News Bible songs of what? Solomon. There are words that we can't believe they're in the Bible. We are even shocked. Is this holy? Was the Holy Spirit leading or what was happening? But we could catch some phrases which we copied and wrote and sent. And then you see this poor little girl in senior 2. She reads and she smiles. And then you know that now, Valna, if you did not put yourself in that situation where you are either going to be rejected or accepted, hello? What happened to you? You remained ever faithful and a very strong religious guy. We had those ones that we called pastors, very faithful, religious. Why? Because you did not put yourself in a vulnerable position. Now, when you get somebody and you put yourself in a vulnerable position, it's going to build your relationship. Why? Your thoughts, your fears, your dreams, your feelings have to be expressed, but in a safe place where you feel accepted and supported. That is emotional intimacy. Unfortunately, today, many young people find, and even older ones, find emotional intimacy very difficult. Why is it difficult? One of the reasons why emotional intimacy is difficult is there's the fear of being judged and even the fear of being rejected. Now, if you are a young man and you have a very bad-shaped nose, there are those that will take all the oxygen in the room. And you are there and you are trying to go for a girl that is good looking and beautiful. How do you feel? Talk the truth. Shame the devil. How do you feel? You quake more because you know that physically you are not so appealing. Is that not right? And so you are like, I might be rejected. And I'm not willing to be vulnerable and be rejected. What about if you are a young lady and you are not so well endowed? Whether people look at you from front or behind or sideways, you look the same. Are we there? Still, you'll have a problem when you have another one who apparently is curvy, more curvy and more better looking. You feel like, nobody will be after me. So that is a problem we are having. Why do people refuse and get afraid of getting into emotional intimacy? They fear being what? Rejected. And they also fear being judged. You can be judged seriously. And then the other problem we have is people have got a lot of past traumas. People have got heartbreaks. Like that young man said, mine is not a heartbreak, but it's heart what? Heart blended. And when he talks that his heart is blended, I really felt sorry. Because if it's broken, you can mend it. But if it has gone through a blender, I was like, now where do I begin even working with this one? Okay? So people go into an emotional shutdown because they know that what I went through in psychology, by the way, I was only introduced as a pastor, but I am a counseling psychologist and I'm a certified psychotherapist with about 14 years now, coming to 15 years. I deal with premarital, I deal with marital, I deal with relationships, I deal with all this. But when people have had traumatic events in their lives, they have had heartbreaks, they lead to emotional shutdown. And then there is a problem. And when we are talking of navigating relationships in the digital age, our biggest problem is now coming as a result of popular culture. There's a normalization of popular culture of social media. Social media has normalized a culture that is not normal to us. A young man has a beautiful girl, and they get a disagreement, and she slaps him. Now, in African culture, do you do that? She slaps him, and he says, hey, honey, I am an African man. Let me tell you this. This is the first and the last time you ever attempt what you have been seeing in those movies. I am not those white men that you slap and is there. Don't ever try that. I will slap you and 3 of your teeth will fly out of your mouth when you are watching. Why? People have looked at these cultures out there and have been normalized. And so you find so many young people who are going these days and they kneel down and they have a big bouquet and a ring somewhere. What are they doing? Proposing. Is that our thing here? Yes. Was that our thing here? You hear that? Normalization of what? Social media. So the young ladies are like, I have to outdo my friends in terms of my engagement. And guess what? A lot of young men have done that and the girl has rejected you. Now you can imagine you are now dealing with another problem. Rejection in a public forum on social media. Every TikTok is showing how you are what? You know, in African culture, let me talk about the culture here in Central. Even when you are coming for introduction, chabanga chama, it used to be silent, quiet in your home. And those African parents were smart. Because if you came and this guy changed his mind, the integrity of this girl was not affected. People didn't know that. But these days, you go out to eat fish, selfie with my bestie, you are everywhere. You splash your relationship everywhere. When they reject you, guess what? Now you can't go anywhere because social media has normalized. So that's one of our problems. Why? We are having people who are going through this. So if you have ever got a friend who was seriously embarrassed with a public rejection. Huh? You know, I was working with a client. The guy bought a Mercedes-Benz ML and went to Kingdom Kampala. Kingdom Kampala, brand new, model 2020. Kingdom Kampala, they had put all sorts of things and covered it up. And then brings the girl and has people who are going to play music and all that. And brings the girl and she rejected him at Kingdom what? Can you imagine? And it was terrible. It was terrible. First of all, he did not believe it could happen. Why? Because he had decided to commodify a relationship instead of investing in emotional intimacy. Now, the problem with social media is social media has normalized cultures that are not our culture. Let me tell you, first and foremost, can I say something here? Let me have a disclaimer on this. In African culture, we don't have dating. Listen to me. In African culture, we don't have what? Dating. There was no such thing that your parents needed your attention and approval. The parents of this young man, who have known that family, they are good. Bazala bulungi, they produce well. Because balima bulungi, they dig like donkeys. They work hard, they are industrious. Tebalina birwadde, tebagwa nsimbu, they are not. Are you getting me? They looked at certain things. They are good people, good behaved, and all that. Would wake up and the father goes to the other man and says, you know, our children. That was African what? African culture. You think they asked your permission? They didn't ask your permission. They decided because then families married what? Families. You didn't marry an individual. You married into a what? Into a family. And I have seen some cultures here where they don't even give you the daughter. They give the daughter to the father. They say, we are giving you our child. Now here comes us. If you want to understand it, Emmaus is a very small congregation. I come here and I'm in between. I decide to start dating. How am I going to do it? Because dating culture is very unique. In the dating culture, if I have this girl, I am supposed to be with her to see whether she's suitable as she's seeing me. If we see we are not suitable, we drop each other with no problems, no fanfare, and we get others. Now, there is no noise, but you try it here. You get a person and you are saying you are dating. In their mind, they are like, thank you, Lord. Answered what? I answered the prayers. Now, after 2-3 weeks, you are getting to know this person. You say, I've discovered that this is not the one. Go to the second one. In the same, go to the third one. What will happen? This guy is terrible. He's a heartbreaker and he's spoiling our what? Our children. Remember, I'm talking of dating. I'm not talking of courtship. There's a difference between dating and courtship. Here, literally, the problem we have is the person you date is the person you are supposed to court and the person you are supposed to marry. I don't know whether I'm communicating. If you make a wrong judgment error in dating a wrong person, you're going to end up marrying a wrong what? A wrong person. People are not going to give you a second chance. If they give you a second chance, better run away from that church. Go to another church where you're not what? And soon, social media will also follow you. Why? Because you have left a social media footprint that showed you when you were at Emmaus, and they showed you with this girl. Now they are finding you in another place. And they're like, this boy or this girl has a problem. Didn't we see her 3 weeks ago with that guy? Now she's... And your chances of getting married are reducing by the day. So this is a problem. But the weights in their culture, your 12-year-old, 14-year-old daughter will come and say, Daddy, I have a date tonight. Oh, who is your date? Oh, you tell, oh, my so-and-so, let him come. And he comes, and they greet you. And he says, okay, you can take her, but make sure you're back by 9. You try that stupidity here in Africa. You just simply try it even with your modern parents and go and say, Daddy, I have a boyfriend. We are going out. I have brought him. One of you will be kicked back into Stone Age. So this is where I'm saying we have a problem. Now, do you see the problem we're having? That we are still culturally Africans, but we are behaving culturally like whites, and we are not fully behaving like them. We are there and we are here. We are in between. The church board will sit. Do you have a church board, Amos? You don't have. The elders will call you very quickly, say, we have noticed and that is a problem. You only meet again on Sabbath afternoon, and there's lots of programs. When do you get time to build and even have what we are calling emotional intimacy? When does it happen? On Sunday, you are doing all the work that needs to be done at home. The rest of the days, you are either in school or you are working. When do you meet? So this is where we have now the conundrum of you resorting to social media. Social what? And things are simpler these days. While for us, we are looking in good news for the phrases and the wording that sounded romantic. You can get anything here. AI can help you. You can send an emoji. You even laugh on social media. And that in itself gives you an impression that I'm doing well. I have bad news for you. You are really in trouble. Why? Because you are not vulnerable. You're not what? And it is easier to hide behind the digital footprints. Because in the digital footprints, you can even say it was a mistake. Don't we type things and they come out wrongly? But here, where you have to get out of your comfort zone and go to the daughter of Eve or to the son of Adam and stand before them and tell them the words that will transform their thinking to start focusing on you. That is where the problem is. So people go for the casual digital edge, but they don't build emotional intimacy. Another thing that we have that is a problem is that social culture, social media has brought in a lot of stuff we don't even know where we stand. I just gave you an example of that, and the young ladies here were like, yes. Now, the problem is, if my friend had a particular way they proposed to her, I want mine to be better. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying. And I want to publish it and show that mine was actually even better than yours. But unfortunately, all those issues are causing us a problem because the relationship has no depth. It is very shallow. It has no direction. It can have some bit of physical attraction. But you see, even physical attraction has a problem because nowadays it is very hard to know who is real. People go and take selfies, and what do? There is a digital footprint that changes that person. That when you meet them physically, you're like, excuse me, I think there is a mistake here that has happened. You look at that and see how well we look in photographs. The profile that comes there shows you to, even when you are 60, you look like you are 42. So this is an issue that is a problem. And so the relationships that we are having are very, very shallow. And some of them simply exist on physical attraction, but the emotional bond that is required to sustain that relationship is absent. Emotional intimacy builds trust. It increases empathy, and it promotes mutual understanding. Now, this is a problem. When people are involved in casual hookups, casual dating that we find on the digital edge, you find that these are more of romantic or sexual relationships, but they are not characterized by specific definitions of expectations. We have people who are emotionally detached. They are in what they call situationships. And you have to ask yourself now, situationships. They are into what we call hookups. They are into relationships that have no strings or what? No strings attached. This is now the language. And so when you listen to some of these, even when they are going to go through something difficult, I was listening to one young lady say, Bakumpi miracle. If you give me a hard time, I do what? I live, I walk. Why should I suffer? Guma, guma. Everybody tell you, mwana wa fekolachi. Guma, why? Why should I remain there, sir? Suffering. When you look at people, I was reading about a couple that had celebrated over 68 years, and they asked the woman, and they said, how have you managed to keep your marriage? And she said, we were born in the years where our years where we were meant to fix things. So if my husband's socks got some holes, gentlemen, I hope you understand, the woman would sit in the evening and pick a needle and go ahead and repair the holes. What do you do today? Throw them away. We throw away everything. We are in a culture where we are replacing everything. Even phones, this is outdated. You get another one, not because you need it, but because it's the culture. So what does that do? We are not only replacing things, we are replacing people. You give me a bit of headache, you are highly replaceable. Now, that is the problem of what we are dealing with. And then we have also issues where we're having casual dating that seems to appeal to freedom and lack of pressure, lack of commitment. Why? You see, when you are not committing and you have the freedom, there are so many others in the pond. Isn't it true that the fish in the pond, when you go to the lake, there are more others in the lake? So if I have fished this one and I found out as a good Adventist that this is not the right fish, what do? Do I take it home? I throw it back in the water and do what? Why? Digital age has shown us there are so many people. There are platforms that are there for dating. Aren't they there? There are platforms for hookups. You don't need to sweat. Why sweat when you can just with a flick of a button go on a website or a particular platform and get somebody who is also in need of a casual relationship in a nearby vicinity. So you don't have to commit and all that. So these are some of the problems we have. And we have people who have been ghosted, and when they have been ghosted, they do not have closure. Now, as a psychologist, I can tell you one of the worst things that I look at is for you to fall in love with somebody who is still in love with another person. Just imagine that you are with a person, but their thoughts and mind is with another what? With another person. They have never experienced closure. So there you are, and this is a problem. And we find a lot of people who are feeling used and they are confused and so on and so forth. Now, what are some of the causes or consequences of casual dating? These are what we call numbness, emotional numbness. You don't feel anything. You have been so hurt that you are now like a leper. You are just like a leper. Even if they put fire on your fingers, you don't feel it. You can smell it and say, what's burning? It's my fingers. People are in that state. And unfortunately, let me say this. Unfortunately, they are in church. You see, I was talking to young people in a conference, and I said, maybe it is easier for you to get somebody from out there because you know what you are getting into. I don't know whether you're getting me. But you find somebody here and you think we have a connection, yet you are dealing with somebody that has been completely benumbed by their past experiences. People have lost their self-worth. They no longer have a sense of self-worth. And that is a problem. Let me tell you, if you ever fall in love with somebody who has very low self-worth, and their esteem is so low. Even when you tell them you are, like somebody walked up to a young lady and says, hey, by the way, you look very smart today. And that was the beginning of trouble. Yeah? You're saying I'm smart. Are you saying other days I'm not smart? Because people are in that space. Anything you say, when you say, oh, by the way, you look so beautiful. Who, me? Are you sure? No, it can't be. I can't be the... Why? Because their sense of worth has been eroded. Their esteem is so what? So low. And so that increases their anxiety. And when you want to see why I mean by increasing anxiety, you just walk up to somebody and you greet them. Immediately, for those of us who are good at reading the body language, immediately you see this person tensing up. It's like, Ajia, he's coming. Like all the others have, they start like this. They also come like this. Now, that is a problem because we are having people who have got trust issues. People have got a lot of trust issues. They don't know who to trust. So when you come, even when you are genuine, they put you in the same category of the people that have hurt them. So this lack of trust is causing even the right people who would come in your space to be discarded. Are we there? This is a problem that we are dealing with. When you look at all the digital era and the messages that it is sending a message of high sexuality, sensuousness. It is sending a message of cheating. Everywhere, every relationship, they can't play a movie without you seeing somebody cheating. So what is imprinted on your mind? That all guys do what? All guys cheat. And today, the ladies have become even more sophisticated. Hello? I knew that would get your attention. Ladies have become more what? Do you know, I also had the view that men cheat more than women. Then I realized in the practice that women equally cheat. The only difference is they are never caught. They are never caught. They are now, she has brought a reason. Men and women cheat when they think that he's cheating. So when you are counseling them and you talk to them and you ask them, you find that they are bitter. And I have learned now to ask the hard questions. When I was just beginning, I would not ask them. But I have learned to ask the hard questions. And then I say, tell me the truth. What about you? You know that guy, the way, and then the truth comes out. She also cheated to revenge on him, thinking if I do what he did, maybe I'll feel better. I'll heal. Does the cycle end there? If you want to prove it, government of Uganda reached a point and said, let us stop DNA. Let us stop. Nobody can walk in until you get commissioner. It's a whole commissioner who has to agree that, okay, this can go for DNA. Why? 98% of the children are not having that paternal father. Do you know what 98% means? 50 would be much, but 90 what? Out of 100, only 2. This is what I was reading was it last week? So they said, marriages are already in trouble. If we continue, people are going to be in trouble because they are going to say, Gwani, Semakula, I think Semakula, we need to change. So people are saying, let's leave things to be the way they are. Why are we bringing all this? It is showing you we are living in a very digital age. And unfortunately, we have not taught our young people how to handle the digital issues. We have not learned. So that whole issue of dishonesty in the relationship that is glamorized in all the media and social media, all these media personalities is very fake and is affecting the thinking of people. Therefore, I want to say this. Emotional vulnerability is not a weakness. Hello? It's not a what? Actually, let me say this. To all of you who are listening and watching and those who are here, if you've lost emotional vulnerability, rediscover it. When was the last time you told your wife, you know what, I'm really missing you. You know what, I have been at church and I was like, she went to Silver Springs, but when is she coming back? Are you getting what I'm saying? People no longer do what? You just come back, you're asking for food, but you're not asking about emotional connectivity and emotional vulnerability. The young men are afraid of it because they are afraid that they'll be rejected. They are afraid you have to always come off on the top. Let me tell you the interesting part. I have had people who have come to me, especially young ladies who have come to me for counseling, feeling so bad that he broke up with me. But do you know what they want to do? They want to get back together such that I am the one who now does what? Who breaks up with him. Because sagala kusema nachi, sisemba nacho, at least let us get back and things get well. And when he's comfortable, I do what? Now this is a problem. Social media. So please be vulnerable. Be vulnerable and allow yourself to be vulnerable and avoid this issue of casual dating, which may offer some temporal excitement, but it fails to be having the depth that comes with real commitment. So this is a problem. Now, we have the illusion of choice. The illusion of choice is that you have potential partners. And all the potential partners, you think they are all for you. One young lady at the university was feeling so bad. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I said, why? Because it seems everybody rejects me. Then I said, help me, because I wanted now to challenge her thinking. Help me to understand who is everybody. Everybody was just two guys. Two guys in the span of several years that you've dated that things have not worked out. Ladies and gentlemen, two guys does not represent everybody. Everybody does. Everybody, nobody loves me. So you find that now you need to realize that you don't need to go and fear. You need to go out. Don't be in a position where you think like the media is showing you. It takes time to pick the right choice. But media is glamorizing choice. When you have all these TikToks, you'll find, I don't know, it's mostly women that are everywhere, not mostly men. Have you noticed that? They're everywhere, dancing, scantily dressed. They are showing availability. So you think that is true. I want to submit to church, to all of you who are watching and listening, that there are so many people, but there's only the one that is right for you. And look for that right one instead of going for all that. We have also the other problem that we have found that is a problem to commitment. Many of you, or many of the people in this age, are looking validation. We call it the validation culture. And the validation or affirmation comes to how many people like what you are doing. The more stupid you do certain things, the more likes, the more following. And the more following, the more you think that I am now very important and popular. No, that's not true. Because a lot of people who do stupid stuff are the people who get a lot of more following. Is that not true? Listen to the music. I'm not talking of gospel music, but I'm talking of secular music. You listen to a song that has caught the fancy of the world, and you even try to see what are the lyrics. You can't even make out what the statements are. Listen to what is coming out. Some of it is vulgar. Some of it very stupid. It's not even musically interesting. I don't know whether am I communicating? Those of you who are musical, you listen to some of the young people, even the voice is raspy, the song is not musical, it's not, but it has got following. People are crazy, they are dancing to stupid looking and sounding stuff. You come up with something nice, nobody's doing what? So what has that done? It has brought an issue of people looking for affirmation and validation from social what? Social media. So if I put out a photograph of us eating something or doing something, and I get so many people who show the likes and make right comments, then I think I am okay. We have changed relationships that should have commitment into a social media frenzy. We are just thinking that as long as I have so many people who look at the celebrity stuff, people in the celebrities space and see what I'm talking of. You have been looking and listening to the Zuenas and all that. As long as they have more scandals, they have more following, more likes, and then for you think, that is it. Now, we need to distance ourselves from this if we are going to have real meaningful commitment beyond the validation. So what is it doing? It means this person depends on, the emotional dependence is on social media, not you. So even if you say something, now when we were growing up, it was not very easy to simply walk up to a girl and say, oh, by the way, you are very beautiful. Hello? Remember, those of us who were born in BC, we were in the analog era. We didn't have these emojis and all that. You had to be straight and walk up. And usually the young ladies then, when you told them something that was nice, how did they respond? Come on, those of you who were there. How did they respond? They looked where? They looked down, they fidgeted, they were very, because it wasn't. Now, guess what? Before you even say it, so many people have said it to her photograph. Are you getting me? You look so hot, you are this. So by the time you come with yours is very limited in terms of creating affirmation. Now, that brings a problem because you no longer look vulnerable. You who is saying it to her. Why? She has heard it. I've heard it all. What is new? I was running, there was last year we had the 9th of October. I was with Pastor Caleb, and we had young people, and they had taken them out to Entebbe. And we gave them some work to do, the young people. So we got some couples not known to each other, and we sent the guys to talk to the ladies. Say something that is emotional to this girl about her. And let me tell you, almost all the girls, when they came back to give the report, was like, there wasn't anything new. Everything they have said, because the problem is, you yourself who is saying you can't be original. Why? You are being fed by social media. So you say the same things which other people are doing what? Are saying. And you don't sound authentic. I don't know whether you are getting me. And this girl also is not going to take it authentically because she has had the same word. So they said, all the guys, only one girl, we had about 12 couples. Only one girl said, yes, he said this. How did it make you feel? Yeah, I felt so happier. The rest were like, they have said nothing new. So be careful when you go to social media to pick the lines, pick up lines and all that. All these things create problems there. So that's the problem of validation culture. And now you know very well that when you're going to have a relationship, one of the things that's very important is affirmations. Affirmation and validating that relationship and that person. But if the person you're validating has had it all, there's nothing. Now let me ask you a question. How many of you love chicken? All right. How many of you have eaten chicken frequently? All right. Now that question sounds funny, but let me put it into context. In those days, if you were a neighbor and you ate chicken and didn't invite your neighbor, that could even cause enmity. Chicken was not something that you just simply found there. Are we there? What about women who would divorce because teyanguli telugoerwa Christmas? Are you getting me? Now, did you see? She says, is that a reason? Why? As you walk now, you can buy yourself any dress, any shoes. Those days, you could take a whole year without getting any what? Now, because of the commonality of these issues, it has affected us. Then the other problem that we have with the social media and media digital platform is comparisons and performance. Now, social media promotes and highlights so many relationships that look like picture perfect. Picture what? They look like they're the epitome of real romance and real love. Some of the things that you see on social media will show that for you are doing nothing. And so the problem is the person who is hooked on the social media following will look at you that you are not. I've done several seminars in family life seminars, and many women say, except those of Emmaus, They say, these men are not romantic. And then I ask myself a question. I ask myself a simple what? A question. They are not what? Where do they teach romance? Where is it? Where is it nurtured? I don't know whether you are getting. Aren't we all from the same spaces? Don't we all grow up in the same families? So where do they teach it? I don't know whether they're getting me. Honestly, at your homes, your parents were romantic? Now, if they were not, let's come back to a typical situation. Your parents were not romantic? Schools? If they even catch you and they say you are coupling, that is suspension, isn't it? All right, let's come down. Church. Are you seeing the problem? So where do you get the notions of romance? Digital. What you see happening in South America, and you look and you see the Filipinos and you see. Now, let me ask you a simple question. Simple question. And I want to address this question to the guys behind there. I want to address this question to you. Yes, you. Don't look behind. Look at me. You know, 14th of Feb? Valentine's what? All right. I want you to have a girlfriend who is in the university and in the hostel, and she's a poor girl like you. Are we there? But you decide to be raw, and you take her a bouquet of red roses. Very expensive. You bought them. Huh? Have you met her needs? Have you helped her? If you only took. But let's come back here. Let's come back here. In reality, will you sustain that relationship? I had a disclaimer first. The disclaimer was, she is a needy student like you. She's also what? I am hungry. And you bring me red flowers. And I become so excited. But in reality, I'm either playing for the media. Now listen. Because when you bring it, I am so excited. Of course they are taking. I'm playing for the media that my boyfriend is so romantic. You see, he brought me this. But in reality, after that, I feel so. I am hungry, and are you getting what I'm saying? But where has that come from? It has come from a culture that is not really our culture. In African culture, they looked at a man who can provide. They were very practical. Because you're not going to eat what? You're not going to eat flowers. Now you see? Now that is a practical issue. Bring flowers and bring some what? Bring some money. Bring some. Yeah, now you are not a needed student. If you are needed, and I think you don't know what we call needed students. If you are needed, as you are walking, you can't even buy a road race. You have to pick one from the roadside and say, I am going to be romantic. And you know, what you are thinking is being romantic is going to end up being an embarrassment to you. Why? Because she's measuring it against the social what? The social media. So this is comparisons of performance. So the best, the ones who have gone out and have done this, and they have shown they are at CJ, they are having this, they are at the beach. We think, now this is a problem, we think they make the most suitable spouses. But I want to challenge you. Are you listening to me? Some of these people are doing those things because they have money. Not because they are romantic, not because they are empathetic, not because they are caring. You see, when you have money, unless if you are very mean, you can do a lot of things which can make another person think that you love them very much when you actually don't. And that is why I think a lot of our relationships that are built on this are lacking depth. They lack what? Depth, and they cannot stand the test of time. So be very careful of comparisons. I am one of the people who advocates stop flashy weddings. Stop big flashy what? Weddings. Be more committed. Don't put yourself in a state where you think, if I don't have a motorcade, and you're going to cause chaos in the clan and cause poverty in the whole church because we have to sponsor your wedding to then, there was a gentleman who was simply talking recently that he married a wife and even brought a plane that flew around Kampala. Unfortunately, she left a long time ago. Even with that, be more involved in vulnerability and emotional intimacy. Commit more. It doesn't require money, but money can smoothen the journey. Are you getting me? Somebody says that that love can exist without money, but if there is money, it makes it a little bit what? A little bit more sweeter. That doesn't mean be mean. African men, that doesn't mean what? And African women, that doesn't mean be meaner. Did you hear what I said? Where did you read it in the Bible that it's the men who are supposed to give and give and give and give, and for you are just receive, receive, receive? That is what? What does it say? A man has to provide. I am lucky that you are not a theologian. I would put you to task. God cast this world and told the man that out of your sweat. Pick me a verse that says that you are going to suffer and work for this woman. Actually, to make matters even worse, when you go to the book of Songs of Solomon, you are going to see a virtuous woman. A woman who wakes up and her husband lacks for nothing. She makes sure that she works and... Are you getting me? So, now the men are like, yeah, pastor, preach on. Huh? But the good news is this. The good news is this. Hello, ladies. Hey, come back. The good news is that beyond what Proverbs is saying, you can give without loving. But when you love always comes with giving. I want to tell you, the ladies who are here, when a man truly loves you, he will be self-sacrificial. He will give. If you have a guy who is not giving, there is a problem somewhere. Are we there? There is a problem somewhere. I have seen students, much of my time I've been in schools. I have seen students, and this boy with this girl has maybe 5,000 shillings. They go to the canteen, and he says, get a Minute Maid. That is at how much? 2,500. And, she gets a meter. Then you can also have something else to follow it. Maybe a scot of chapati, another 1,000. That is the 135 now. And he has a balance of one what? And maybe going back home will take 2,000. So he'll have to foot. And then when she asks, what about? He says, I am okay. I'm okay. But inside, he's not okay. Are you getting me? But because he loves her, he's committing the little that he has, that he does what? He gives her. So I always say, if only we got with the biblical principles, our lives will be a little bit more easier. So what did I say? Men, don't be mean, but women, don't be what? Don't be meaner. It is a two-way traffic. Give and take. Give and what? Give and take. Now, how should we build healthy connections in a digital age? Because we are having a problem. We cannot do away with the digital footprints. It has come. It is here to stay. Yet we have seen its challenges, but we need to do something. So despite the fact, the issues that the modern landscape is very challenging because of this digital information and age, it is also possible to have positive, meaningful, emotional, fulfilling relationships. Fulfilling, emotional what? Relationship. The key is for you to be intentional. Be intentional, be self-aware, and be committed to what you want to do. When we are studying, those of you who have done studies up to a higher level, there are so many things you don't like to do. but you become intentional. You have this coursework, you have to do it. Isn't that right? You have this research, it's intentionality. Now, I want you to look at it that my relationship, I am going to be intentional to build it, to be committed, and to have emotional intimacy. And I told you the first thing that comes with emotional intimacy is vulnerability. And so that's why somebody said when they were conducting a small workshop and they told all men, get out your phones and send some message to your wife that has an emotional vulnerability undertones. Like, honey, I really love you so much and I'm missing you. And you know, the interesting part was the response from the women. Because women were like, wait a minute. There is a problem. Are you okay? Have you had an accident? They were shocked. Why? Because men have forgotten the dating. Are you getting me? When you are dating, you go out of your way. Isn't that right? So that's why I said when I was beginning that this is not a talk for singles. Even the married, go back and start dating your spouse. Date them. Go back and be vulnerable. Keyword is what? Intentionality. Be intentional. Be intentional to commit to that relationship. Be intentional in knowing that this relationship must be, the keyword, mutually fulfilling. It does not fulfill me alone, but it fulfills us together. Think of it this way. If you have got a good meal, you've cooked a very good meal, would you enjoy it when you are seated and enjoying it alone? Hello? Or it is better when you have a friend to share it with. In other words, when you talk, when you look and you are can I say something that sounds funny here? Be selfish. Be selfish enough to know that if she is happy, I am going to become happy. If not happier. I don't know whether I'm making sense. If I make him happy, trust me, I am going to benefit the most. So that's why I'm saying be what? Be selfish. Now, selfishness doesn't sound like a spiritual component, but there's a Bible verse that is very funny that says, how can you, it says, love your neighbor as you do what? What does that seem to show? That I cannot love the neighbor when I have not known what love is. I have to first of all love myself in order to have something to share with the what? With the neighbor. So I'm saying, be selfish enough to know that my marriage, my courtship, my relationship is going to be more beneficial to me if it is mutual. Not that, what is it that I benefit? Actually, many times when young people come to me and ask me, how can I know who is the right partner? I have a different question I ask them. Would you like to hear the question I ask them? What makes you think you are the right one for him or for her? Because if you answer that, then they will be the right one for you. I've set a tone. I'm happy now that your brain has started thinking about that. So, fight hard to be the right person. Are you getting me? Instead of fighting hard to get the right what? You're not getting me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Do not fight so hard to get the right what? Person. Fight hard to be the right what? And I have learned something about the God we serve. When you are the right person, he will lead to you the right person. But many times we spend time looking at what do I benefit from this relationship. It should be mutually benefiting. So go ahead and be intentional. One of the things you need to ask yourself is, what kind of relationship am I ready for? Not what kind of relationship do I want. Hello? What kind of relationship am I ready for? If I have talked to university students and I tell them this question. I said to the young ladies, when the young man comes to you and says, I love you, thank them. You love me? Thank you very much. I am happy to hear that you do what? But then I say, Ask. But I need to understand something. When you say you love me, what is it that you love? What is it that you are talking about? I love you. You have a sexy body. I love your body. You know these semantic ranges of words, they use the same word. I find you sensuous. I find your body sexy. I love you. I want to sleep with you. I love you. Are you getting what I'm saying? I need to know such that I am ready for the relationship. Now, the problem with digital era commitments they are coming up with very shallow-minded, and you are not going to be sure what you are going to be for. So ask yourself, what kind of relationship am I ready for? Why? A young lady who is here is ready to settle down to marry. A young man who is here is still having adventure. And the two of you meet. The adventurous one and the one who is ready to do what? But because you did not ask yourself, you got excited, caught up by the digital. You are sending everywhere. Do you see us? My guy, my bestie, we are out. And first of all, you are also advertising to the wolves. You are advertising to the wolves that, my guy is so special. Please come. They're like, So this guy even has money. He has even afforded to do this. They are going to encroach on your relationship. That's one question. 2, ask yourself another question. Am I emotionally available? Because emotional intimacy comes with emotional availability. If you are not emotionally available, you are not ready. You are ready for a casual relationship, not an intimate, committed relationship. Why? Intentionality means even if I am so busy, I need to create time for this person. If you don't create time, you are going to be spending a lot of time here chatting and sending all sorts of stuff, but you are not connecting. And then ask yourself a question. What values am I looking for in a partner? The first question was, what kind of relationship am I ready for? The second, am I emotionally available? And the third is, what values am I looking for in a what? In a partner. Now, I have good news and bad news. Which one should I give you? A lot of our young people come and they say, I have seen no guy in the church. I have seen no what? In others, all these that are there are not guys. They are not guys. I have seen no guy in the what? And you don't blame them. But I have found this guy, this Muslim guy. This guy cares. This guy loves. This guy is there for me and all that, right? So I think, Pastor, he will change. He will change. Fine. But the question that is being asked here is, what values am I doing what? Am I looking for in a what? In a person. And by the way, spiritual value is probably one of the best. If not, it is the best. Spiritual what? Because it encompasses true love, which comes with self-giving, self-sacrificial. It encompasses forgiveness. All the things you are going to need in your what? In your marriage, if you are intending to get married. And by the way, let me tell you, do you know the reason God said why you should not get yoked to the unbelievers? Do you know? The verse says, because he wants you to produce a God-fearing what? God is not so much worried about you, the adult, but he's worried about what? You are going to create monsters for us in the future, which will bring a problem to other people. Those little ones, because of your lack of strong value system that you looked at. So look at that instead of looking at what gives me pleasure. Now, a lot of young people are like, Pastor, this is too hard. Why are you hitting us hard? I'm not. It's the Bible. God, ask yourself, what are the values that I want that will be enshrined in this relationship? Now, I want you to start cultivating emotional intimacy. You are cultivating it for the following reason: to build emotional closeness. It's a therapy that they use. They bring a couple and they take them to a farm where they have horses that have been trained. And the horses that have been trained, they attach each one of you to a particular horse. And the interesting thing is this: the horses are able to determine and detect that you're not emotionally close. When the two of you have had a fight, the therapist only looks at the horses. Do you know what the horses do? They move apart, signifying that this couple is not close. When you make up and you feel close, the horses come together. So there's something that was very interesting. Do you know why people, when they are quarreling, they shout? Hello? Am I having your attention or it has gone? Have you noticed that when people are quarreling, even if they're in the same room, same space, they shout? They start talking and then they start shouting. Do you know why? Because of the emotional distance that has been created. And because of that distance that has been created, they cannot talk on low tones and hear each other. So they have to raise their what? In other words, to get to you, I have to shout. We've stopped talking. Now we are shouting on top of my voice. You're on top of the voice. The neighbors are hearing, but the two of you are not even noticing. So this is something that is what is happening with emotional connectivity. Cultivate it, build it, water it. Like you have a plant, be intentional. I am in a drought, there is no rain, I need to water this plant. I need to give it some fertilizers. Work on it. Have honest conversations. In fact, somebody asked me a question. Would you like to hear the question that has been asked so many times? When do I know that he is ready or she's ready to be married? When she says yes. When she says yes. When he says, I want to marry you. No. When he or she can have an honest conversation. Did you hear what I said? When he or she can be emotional and tell you, you know what, I am pissed off at you. You told me to meet you at 11 o'clock. This is 1:30. I am not happy with what you've done. That is an honest what? But when you meet this one, it's inside they are dying. They want to suffocate. But they're like, it's okay. And it's all right. That means they are not yet emotionally mature, and they cannot handle honest conversations. You want to cultivate emotional intimacy? Have honest conversations. Share your fears. Do you see that fears is taking us back to vulnerability? Share your fears. Share your values. Share your goals. But this with a disclaimer, past experiences. I would like to suggest to you that there are some past experiences that you need to share with us, the therapists, because we can handle. I am one of the people who doesn't believe, I don't believe in this thing that whatever I did in the past, I should share. Did you hear what I said? We were having a conversation, Christian Adventist conversation as therapists. We agreed that it is not actually right that everything that you had in your past that you should share with this person that you are simply building a relationship with. Did you hear what I said? You are just beginning. Say, at the age of 14, I aborted. Then I aborted again at 18. But by 23, I had the twins, and I also then the person is like, hey, what am I getting? I don't know. Are you getting what I'm saying? And you are saying, for me, the Bible says, I have to be what? The truth will do what? It will certainly set you free from that relationship. Are you getting me? So we are saying, for example, if you have had trauma, past trauma, you may not be able to, your partner may not be emotionally mature to handle that trauma. Even you yourself. And if you fail in the future, they will bring it back. Say, hey, that is the reason why even the first guy left you. It is because of this and this, so it will bring problems. So what do I suggest to you? That while you need to be honest, get professional help. Come to us who are professionals to help you navigate that. And as we build the relationship, you will be able to gauge in future whether the relationship can withstand. But there are certain things that you must tell. They removed your womb. Hello? They removed it. You cannot conceive. And here you are going to tell, or you are having a low sperm count that you cannot even. Now you are quiet about something like that. Doesn't a person deserve to know? Yes. People, certain things they deserve to do what? To know such that they can form informed choices. And that is a problem that we have with that. Another thing that you need to note is be a good listener. Be a good what? Not just a good talker. Some of us are good at talking, but we are poor at listening. You want to build a committed relationship based on emotional intimacy, be a good listener. Listen. And don't listen with bias. That's what you are going to say. I knew it. This is you complete the sentence. Somebody is still talking and you do what? You complete it. Don't listen with a bias. Don't be a person who completes other sentences. Don't be a person who switches off in the middle of the talk. Be attentive. Be a good listener. And I wish I had time here to have you practice this. Do we have any couples here that are married, that are here? Husband and wife? Do we have others that they will fear. They will fear. Okay, now the couples sit together. If your couples sit together, but I want the rest of you just turn to your neighbor. If your couples just sit together, don't worry. Don't worry. We know you are shy. We know. So sit close. Sit close. Get a pair up quickly. Pair up quickly. Everybody. Hello, guys. I need you to move quickly. You have formed your cocoon there. You are. Huh? Come on. Can you mix? Hello. Can you mix well? Others are saying, Pastor. Some ladies are seated alone. Guys. Move quickly. I need everybody to, what is happening here? 3 guys back there. These ladies are here. Yeah. Come on. Quickly. Ladies, one of you come and sit here. Come and sit. Yes. All right. Now, this is for practice purposes. But who knows? God works mysteriously. But this is for practice. This is a shy one. Come and sit. He's still a young guy. Don't worry. You are safe. You are in church. Now, I want you to notice the following. We are saying don't be just a good talker. Some of you know how to talk. You can actually go to the Eskimos in the middle of winter and you sell them refrigerators, which they don't need since the temperatures are minus 40. But you are that good. Don't be a good what? Talker. Be a good listener. Come back, young lady. Come and sit. Come. Yes, come and sit. He will not hurt you. It's okay. Now, what do I mean? What I mean is this. I want you to have a meaningful conversation in just a few minutes with this person. And I want you to do the following. Now look at me. I want you to look at this person in the face. Hey, relax. Close your eyes, okay. Look this person in the what? Look in the face. Look in the face of the person you are talking to. I want you to notice the following. Pay attention, please. Look at the emotions in their eyes. Relax. Relax. I'm not teaching romance here, no. I want you to notice the following. Attention. I want you to look at what we call the body language. Are you there? I said those who are married, sit together. Those in a relationship, fine. Look at the body what? Look at the body language of the person. Hello? Attention. Look them in the what? Look them in the what? In the face. Now, notice the following. Hello? Attention. Notice the following. Listen to the emotions as they speak. Are we there? As you're going to have a conversation, you're going to have a practice run. You want to listen to the what? To the emotions as this person speaks. The tone of the voice. Does it show this person is with you or is disconnected? Are you following what I'm saying? So watch even the mannerisms. Some people have got mannerisms. When they talk, you can see these blood vessels are doing this. Or they are clenching their jaws. Or you can see somebody doing all sorts of things like she's doing now. You see, that is body language, okay? So you can know. Are we there? So I want you to watch this. When we say be a good what? Listener more than a good what? A good talker. We are saying this. When you are going to hold a meaningful conversation that helps you to build a relationship, you are going to put your phone on airplane mode. Are we there? You are not going to be there in the middle of the conversation. You are receiving a what? A phone call and you are talking. You are not going to do that. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, I want to ask you, you are going to get up from these seats. You are going to spread out in this compound. You are going to talk 2 by 2. Just have a simple conversation. Something simple. Don't make it complicated about yourself, about your interests, and all that. Now, talk, but being a listener, that when that person talks, you are listening. And then your turn to do what? To talk. Are we there? And you always, when they bring something you've not understood, before you respond to it, ask for clarification. I have heard you say this. Did I hear you right? Is this what you said? Is this what you meant? So have feedback and all that. So get up. Get up. You've been seated for long. Move to the compound. Move where you're free. Be just in pairs. Talk and be a good listener. Don't remain here. Just move. Come on, people. Get up. 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 All right. You have space. We have a lot of space here. All right. You can come back. You see? Welcome back. All right, all right. I understand we have a church board, so I am going to be winding up. Not that we've finished everything, but we can. All right. Relationships that have got emotional intimacy are built on patience and empathy. And I want to ask you that you're going to need to have empathy. Be empathetic. Be able to see the point of view of the other person. Be able to not just sympathy, but to be available for them with their challenging situation. That is a relationship that will have emotional intimacy. And then I want you to just have one part here, that the journey begins when? When does it begin? Now. If you have had a good, meaningful conversation with somebody, don't stop. It has done what? It has begun. Okay? Don't stop. Be there. Be in their space. Don't just look at being there in the digital space alone, but be intentional in creating moments for you. Are you getting what I'm saying? I am one of the advocates that our churches should have meaningful time, preferably Sabbath evening, for our young people. It's one of the things that we need to do. We are having more wedding meetings and all that. We need to have time. We need to have time away from all the stresses of life for people to connect as heart to heart, human beings. Are we there? So there are questions when you are navigating this that you need to confront. There are wounds. There are certain wounds you have you need to confront. There are certain fears you need to confront. There are certain patterns of behavior you need to reflect on and to change. But I want you to ask yourself a question. How do I show love? And how do I receive love? This is both to the marrieds and even to the non-marrieds. How do I show love? But I have learned that showing love could be a little bit easier. But receiving love is a problem. So ask yourself, how do I receive what? Love. What are the things that I do that are intentional to show I am receiving love? I have always said, and let me also reiterate it here, that you can find somebody who is lovely looking, very beautiful or handsome, lovely looking. But being lovely looking is just an eye opener. It's not enough. But you need to ask yourself a question. Is this person lovely? Is this person lovable? They look lovely. But are they lovable? Because you can be wasting your love on somebody who is not what? Who is not lovable. Cannot. I don't know how to explain it. I said it somewhere and people got so shocked. I said, I've learned through practice and all that there are some people who are not even meant to be married. They are not meant to be married until they receive real help to deal with the issues. Because even if you do what, and they are going to cause you also more injury, because you start blaming yourself and second-guessing yourself and thinking, maybe I did this. When it's not you, the problem is with them, not with you. So the person could be lovely looking, but are they lovable? Can they receive love? Can they give it? And then I always ask a question, are they loving? Are they loving? Are they able to love back? So I want to ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself, what are my emotional triggers? When I see a girl who is of this height or a guy of this height with this kind of physical features, with this kind of talent, I lose it. Are you getting what I'm saying? What are my emotional what? Triggers that here I have a problem. And then ask yourself, what kind of partner am I becoming? What partner am I becoming? In any relationship, are you becoming better? Are you static? Or you are becoming worse? What are you becoming? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop here in the interest of time, and if there are some questions such that you can ask them, but I want to thank you very much for according me the time to share with you navigating emotional intimacy in the digital age. Thank you very much. I don't know, Noelin, I don't know whether you can come. If there is any question that they want to ask, yes. You can ask from there, it's okay.
Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. My name is Justin. I would like to add, to make two comments before I ask my question. I love that you talked about the listening bit, because communication is two-way. If I talk and you don't listen and understand me, then we are not communicating. So, partly you mentioned listening. I would add, listen to understand and connect. Most of us listen to Ria. Ria abakugamba nogamba, okay, n'olulinda amalayo dimuwe. Easy, be easy. Try to connect with this person. When you're not so anxiously waiting to Ria, you can be able to understand and connect with this person better.
Yes.
And then, once he mentioned the ladies giving, and I support that, right? So I want to encourage the ladies, every lady, no matter your level of economic status or your level of schooling, every lady, especially our young sisters, you need to be doing something for yourself. When you have a little income, you don't overlook at what can the guy give you, right? It empowers you a little bit. Most of the time when we talk about empowerment, we think, I want to do the money's role. No. I want to be able to do a little something for myself so that when they can't do it all, I am not so vulnerable. Maybe you're working or you're doing, you have a skill, you're not waiting on the guy to come and save you from your own life, right? So you're trying, by the grace of God, to do something with your life. So I encourage, please don't be waiting on a man to come and save you, because that's how the ladies get desperate. Oh my God, I've been waiting forever, yeah? Nobody's coming. Oh my God, I've been waiting forever. Be busy doing something for yourself. Even if you didn't go to school, you can learn a little skill and be doing something from your home. Even if you're at home, at your parents' home, you can do something from your home. Yes, now my question is, I want to not overspeak it loudly. Yes, I said I agree with giving, but many of our guys are lazy. Sometimes I want to know, at what point do you give? Because while we are talking about the ladies being empowered, be doing a little something for yourself, many of our guys nabo batubaza. Bwalabanga, you're doing something, they're like, if I get this one, they get lazy. How can we go about this situation? Thank you.
A very good question. Yes, please. There's a response that is coming from. Oh, I don't. Okay. I thought you wanted to say something. Are you responding?
No, me, I was asking.
Okay. I'm not noting down anywhere, but okay. Ask your question. Yeah.
Yes, when we were talking about dating and dating in married couples. So even me, I have a question. Why do married couples break up, or why do women or who that are when they promise to marry them, men don't show up for weddings or for introductions? And why do people break up in marriage? I don't know, or in a relationship. I just want to learn such that maybe when I get to one relationship, I know what to do. Because I've never been in a heartbreak or something like that. So what causes it?
Okay, let me begin with these two. Let me begin with has. That question is a hard question to answer because you are dealing with people who are not like robots that you can program them. You are dealing with people who are inherently evil. I don't know whether, let me say, there are people all of us are sinners, right? But there are some sinners who are in a class above the ordinary. There are some sinners that really, when you look at them, they are more of the children of the devil. Let me use that word. Because the devil is a liar, isn't it? And there's no truth in him. And you find somebody deliberately, intentionally lying and hurting people. And you find that it's a pattern with certain people. So, apart from the fact that we are having evil of sin, there are some people who are like that, unfortunately. But then there could be also so many other factors that are difficult to get into now. So many factors. What is it that you have gone through? What is your level of commitment? What type of relationship were you in? We look at all those things. What is your spiritual thermometer reading? So many people are religious, but they are not spiritual. Unfortunately, we have so many, as Jesus said, we have the wild wheat that is planted in the good wheat, and they're also in the church here. And we can't know because Jesus said, let all of them grow together. There are wolves in a sheepskin. They are all there. There are others who are just literally planted by the devil in the church to disorganize somebody's life and all that. So it's a combination of several things. The good news is you are still young. Start praying about it. Start praying more that God works on you. And then pray that God leads the right person to you at the right time. You'll get the right person. God will open your eyes. You'll see the red flags early. But sometimes even the ladies become desperate. This is what you're saying. That even when they see the red flags, and some flags are flying, they are swinging so hard, and everybody is like, my daughter, don't go. My son, don't go. You are like, if it is not this one, are you there? So pray. God will give you insight. God speaks. He uses a still small voice and shows you that there's something wrong here. Listen to that voice and you'll be saved. But for now, keep your peace, keep growing, and keep listening and learning and keep praying. Now, back to her question. There are men who are that, of course. And it is a challenge that we are having in the church today. But I want you also to appreciate, the ladies who are here, I want you to appreciate that many of us are not entrepreneur. We don't create jobs. We don't create opportunities. I think one of the challenges I've seen in the Adventist church is either our education systems or our training has not trained our young people to create opportunities and jobs. We are employable. And everybody who needs to get a job, I'm telling you, Adventist young ladies, you are treading on a very dangerous ground. Because most of the jobs that are good jobs have issues that compromise the value system. So, if you get a good young man who has got a good job, but the good job requires him to work on Sabbath, requires him to close a blind eye when corruption is doing this and all that, he's not going to get employed. Are you getting the challenge? Now, most of our Adventist families, I am sorry to say, are not in the money economy. most of the Adventist families are struggling. Your brothers, you know them. And those brothers of yours are the ones who are going to marry your friends. And when you ask yourself, are they rich? Even you, the girls, you're also coming from poor what? Poor families. So before we start blaming the guys are very limited in the things they can do that economically can empower them. Let me give you an example. We wanted to start a salon. And then we discovered that while we wanted to start a salon, the money that you make on Friday night and Sabbath is enough, covers even more than the money you do in 2 weeks of normal days. I have a friend of mine who was working a good job and he started a supermarket. 5:30 Friday he closes. But 5:30 he's closing. At most 6 o'clock, people are in traffic jam, they are coming. And then when they come, they are arriving at that time at around 7:30. The supermarket is what? Closed. When do they shop? They shop on Friday evening for the weekend. What do they shop? They want their 6-pack beer. They want some pork chops, which they will take. Then after they have gotten those, they remember there's no bread and no sugar. So they enter the supermarket. They can't get the pork. They can't get the sausages for pork. They can't get the Smirnoffs and all these beers. And they're like, why don't you bring these things? And those things have high profits. He's a good Adventist. He had stocked the supermarket. He failed after less than a year. And he said, Sam, I can't sustain it. I have to sell it. Because after they have gone, you're going to open on Saturday night. Even here, you are still here. Now you got night. Now people who needed things for the whole day, will they come on Sunday? So I want you to notice that we have a problem. And the ladies who are in this church need to realize that while it is true that we have some young men that are lazy, but others really don't know what to do. Some of them are highly educated, but the jobs they can get, they can't get them because they compromise. 2, we move in the same circles. We don't know technical know-how. So we have the knowledge, but because you're not connected, you'll not get the jobs that other people do what? So we are caught up in a vicious what? A vicious cycle. And to make matters worse, these are people who cannot create opportunities and business. They have to be employed. So what do I say? Work together. Just know. Yes? Yes? Again, come back to our setups. You're going to see that a lot of our ladies are working. True. But you know that, unfortunately, again, economically, ladies are going to get a few more. What should I say? I'm on a pulpit. I need to be careful. A few more opportunities than the guys. I have so many young ladies who have graduated with the lower class degrees who have got the jobs that the guys who have higher degrees have not got. I don't know whether what I'm saying, 2, our society over the past few years, seeing how women were suffering, has done a lot to empower the girl child, and at the expense, actually the boy child, I say, is an endangered species. He's an endangered subspecies, the boy child. So the protection, the whatever. Look at, okay, let's give you an example. Makere, even starting from way back in the 90s, a girl going to Makere was always being given some extra points and all that. They will come out, they will graduate. Now, I'm not talking of the good Adventist girl, but many girls, many women have actually compromised to get those jobs. And they are staying in those jobs through a lot of compromise, many of them. And you know what I'm talking of. So all those factors, I'm not saying it is happening everywhere, but all those factors play a funny role in all this. What am I saying? Work together. Don't discard a good man who is not having opportunities. But if you have a man who is lazy, That one we need to help. We need to have seminars for the guys to activate them that they become more industrious and not simply sit and say, let me wait for that girl who is working and has done this and hook up with that. Does that balance it a bit? Okay, there was a question.
Thank you for the lecture and for the good responses to the questions. They trigger, I think, our thought processes are well. And my question is based on the theme today that we had and the discussion we had. And it could be that I ran to the wrong conclusion, but we seem to conclude and say that let's stick to our culture as has been when it comes to relating and expressing our emotional intimacy as we grow emotional intimacy. And I find that challenging in a transient culture society that we live in. So then my question would be, how will this young person, this young man, or this young woman find that balance? What should be adopted and what should be, where should we stick to our old guns and where should we move that step a bit into the culture, because it's the culture we now have. We can't say we can do things the way they were in the 60s, 70s, because a lot has changed. So how many steps can somebody take into the digital environment? How much should we embrace? In fact, does the digital environment have some pros that it can provide to encourage and build our emotional engagements that we can leverage on to build stronger relationships?
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm happy you've asked that question, because I think I was going to be misunderstood. We cannot do without the digital footprint. It's part of us. We cannot do without it. Neither can we remain static, because culture is dynamic. Culture is very dynamic. You cannot say, I am going to do it the way it was done and get away with it, because it's not happening. But what I want to say is, when I said something here, I made a comment. I said, probably every Saturday evening, every church should have time for the interaction of the young people. It's a safe space. I don't know whether I'm communicating. What I'm simply saying is, while I cannot do without the digital age, I have to still remain there, but I need to get into activities that bring emotional intimacy, which requires me to be physically there. If I can't, yes, but I have to also create intentionality. Let me say something here. In the workspace that I am in, I've found some couples where somebody is working in Lamo. Lamo, you go to Gulu, you go to Kitugum, that far, and find a young lady working in Lamo, and her fiancé is working in Ramwanja. Ramwanja, you go down west as if you're going to Fort Portal, and you go to Ramwanja. Now, with that kind of job, those kinds of jobs, definitely you cannot do without this. That's almost the only limitation, the only thing that can connect them. But I'm saying, even when you have that, embrace the fact that your culture and my culture is not static. These days, a father is not the one picking for you who you are going to marry. It is you. But you are going to have to be intentional in saying, I'm not just going to remain here, but I have to be physically available for this person to feel me and for this person to connect with me. That's the suggestion that I would give. Balance the boat, such that, yes, you are there, you are sending the messages, but also have time, the me time that can help you to connect with this person. That is what I suggest. Okay? The one who was here has gone to the church board. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, and thank you for your participation and for your involvement. I pray that God will help this church and the young people here to have more meaningful relationships. And all relationships that do not end up taking you to heaven, discard them. If you are in a relationship that is not going to take you to heaven, however good it is, do what? Discard it. What will it benefit a man to gain? The whole what? The whole world, but lose his what? Lose his life. May God bless you. Thank you very much. Can we rise up and probably have a closing prayer? Let us pray. Our gracious and loving Father, thank you for the time you've given us to meet, to discuss about this big issue that is in our communities and in our lives. I pray, dear Lord, that you will help us, give us wisdom, give us knowledge and understanding. Give us eyes of spiritual discernment to pick the right people, to commit to them when we do. And then at the end of it all, when you come back in glory, we will be with you throughout eternity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for granting us this time. And thank you, everyone, for staying around. I hope we've benefited.